Alright, here we go. It's been a while since I've been on stream, but I am back from Texas, back to work, and we are going to take a look at some mechanical keyboards today. So mechanical keyboards are something that are fairly new to me. I think the first one I picked up was the K68. That would be this bad boy over here. And it's time to retire it. I think it's done some really good work for me, but the main thing is the fact that this is a wired keyboard, and I wanted to switch to something that is a little bit more flexible on my workstation and something smaller. So I actually went ahead and picked up a new Keychron. This is the V10, and it's also in the Alice layout. So this one specifically has you know, a more ergonomic layout. Something I'm definitely more you know, conscious of because I'm gaming and at my desk working on you know on my 9 to 5, pretty much 8+ hours a day. So I want to save my digits and be able to game and you know, work as long as I can. So something to kind of just be proactive with that is to kind of have a more ergonomic setup. I already have an ergo chair. I have an ergo mat. I have my standing desk, so I'm standing right here right now. And then the thing that I wanted to kind of upgrade is that keyboard. Now, as part of that, again, I'm not shy with mechanical keyboards. I haven't done like a full teardown. Typically, have picked up things that are already kind of pre-built. But the Corsair K68 was the first mechanical keyboard that I got. Red switches, which I really like. But again, I wanted to switch to a smaller form factor, around 75%. So I do have a different keyboard. Let's pull it up here. Let's get the top down switch. There we go. What's going on, Alex? Yeah, so going through a new mechanical keyboard refresh. This is the base of my K68. So I've removed all the keycaps because I took the stock caps off. I put on some retro PBT caps on top just to kind of customize it to give it a more retro feel. I like this one a lot because, especially when my cat used to jump on my table, this does have this rubbery membrane that sits on top. So anytime, you know, if I was to get a spill or anything like that, there are these channels that do protect the switches and that drain right out of the bottom. But since I moved over my desk and kind of changed my setup, I don't really need to worry about my cat anymore jumping on and worrying about, you know, damaging any of that, fingers crossed. So with that being said, the other thing too is I noticed that although I work in business, I haven't been using the number pad as much, and that's just kind of eating up some additional real estate on my desk, and I kind of wanted to get rid of that. So I may get an external Bluetooth numpad or something like that, depending. But as it stands right now, this keyboard will be retired and replaced, as mentioned, with this Keychron V10 Max wireless ergo keyboard. And so pretty much, again, I already stripped the keys from here, and I'll be applying the keys onto mainly the letters. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the entire face. The one thing for sure that are a little odd are these spacebar buttons, which I won't have the replacement caps for. But just to show you what we're talking about, I think I have my caps here. Hold up. Now I think this might have the stock keycaps mixed in with some of the retro ones, and then I will have to install the old caps onto the Corsair board. Yes. So these are the original caps from the Corsair board that come stock with it, and then the tray beneath it, you'll see, are additional caps, and then right below the third tray should be, there they are, more of the retro guys over here. So because I dismantled this Corsair board and I removed all those keycaps yesterday, and they are white with red, I decided to kind of give them a wash as well. So they have been drying overnight. They are completely dry right now, and I will be transferring them over. So the first step of this process, first step of this stream, will be to reinstall all the old keycaps onto this board. So let's go ahead and do that. And we will go ahead and work our way. Let's see here. Start with the function keys, and we will work our way over. And again, this is the Corsair K68 RGB keyboard, wired keyboard. Really served me well for a good amount of time. It was my first mechanical keyboard. And all these keycaps sliding in place here. Let's go ahead and trying to find all the proper layout here. Want to make sure that we are installing everything correctly. Cool thing about most mechanical keyboards, at least I know for the Keychron that I just picked up, it is fully programmable, so literally every single key can be remapped. And then there are also a few macro keys, I believe 4 macro keys on the left side that you know, I'll program for some purpose or another. I've got to find that backspace key. And I'm going through 2 different trays of the stock keys here, and you can see, you know, pretty much that I haven't, you know, worn these down at all. Literally, once I purchased it, I went ahead and, you know, replaced those keycaps. So this is pretty much in mint condition. I even cleaned the membrane when I was done. Lots of cat hair and gunk beneath, as expected. But as mentioned with the whole ergo kind of thing, you know, getting to 40 and, you know, working in tech, remote working, you know, just want to be able to take care of my body, and I decided just to splurge on these nicer keycaps, and especially the ergo design of the Keychron. Keychron, I did some research, very highly rated out there. Can't remember if this one, yeah, this one slopes down. And I was debating, I actually picked up a wired one by accident, and I was wondering where the wireless toggle was for the 2.5 and the Bluetooth. And sure enough, it was the wrong keyboard. And I actually ordered it while I was away in Texas, and I saw the price drop to $80, which is why I made that impulse purchase. I'm like, yo, this stuff never goes on sale. So I ordered it, got home, installed it, and as I was installing it, I'm like, there seemed to be a few things missing. And in retrospect, I should have taken a closer look at 1, the listing, and 2, the box before opening it, but I think I was just too excited, you know, when I got home here. So what are you gonna do? But if you're familiar with mechanical keyboards, if you have one yourself, let me know what your story is. Oh, it looks like I installed that one upside down, so I gotta get my key puller. Let's get this guy out. So that's a cool thing that the both of these keyboards kind of came with this nice. This one is the key puller on this end over here, and this one is the switch puller. So for those who haven't had a mechanical keyboard before, you can pretty much customize and replace your switches to different types. There's tactile, there's linear, these are linear red. There's clicky blue ones, and then there's a whole slew of different customizable ones as well, which for the most part, I just like the stock linear sort of style. Maybe that's not stock necessarily, but let's see here. Oh yeah, I was looking for the enter key, which I put off to the side. Over there. All right, working down to the lower row. And I know that both this and the Keychron that I picked up are RGB, and I think that that's just kind of like the standard now to give, you know, gamers who are into that type of stuff the option. But for the most part, I didn't really use it a lot with my keyboard. My main aesthetic was to kind of switch out the white keycaps for the retro for one, and then the other was yeah, the other was mainly for to conserve battery life. I mean, I'm already going to be using the new keyboard as a wireless keyboard, so you know I got to be mindful of that. Let's see here, got the escape key. I'm gonna have to refer to the product images because I'm already forgetting where the remaining keys go here. Let's see. So that is all good. We have an Alt key right here. Let's go look for that space bar. Okay. All right, looking good. The one thing as well that's kind of cool about this keyboard is because of the RGB, if people want it, you could actually, the lights kind of come through. Like these are translucent, where the letters actually are. So that's a nice little feature, because sometimes again there are keycaps on RGB keyboards, like the Keychron one for example, where the letters don't actually shine through. So I mean, in the dark, if you know people are actually looking at that and using that for seemingly for visibility, then you know it's kind of defeats the purpose to have it fully painted over. But you know, there's a whole subculture of people that are into this community of mechanical keyboards and all kinds of custom keycaps and purposes, whether they're programmers or what have you. So you know, everyone has a different use case, you know, for each. So I'm using this box beneath me as my cheat sheet to reinstall. And another reason for downsizing is honestly the amount of times that I actually use the right side of the keyboard has been very rare. So it was one of those things where, you know, I wasn't able to go all the way down to a 60%, which I believe is the smallest. I believe is the smallest form factor that you can go for, but I thought that a 75% was a good medium. I certainly need arrow keys, you know, to navigate. And the other thing that the Keychron has, which I think is a nice little bonus, is a like a tactile knob. So you know, I'll probably likely use that for volume control and stuff like that, versus holding the function key and having to kind of like, you know, multi-tap that to, you know, bring the volume up and down. The other nice thing, and I know that there are these features here, but the higher end keyboards like the K70 and higher for Corsair and a lot of the other gaming keyboards, they sometimes have either a scroll wheel or a touchscreen, which is a nice, you know, premium, you know, kind of feature. But the fact that I can pretty much, you know, assign macros to the new keyboard, you know, I'm not too worried about limitation. If anything, I think the fact that I have not only, you know, the new Keychron keyboard, but I also do have my Razer Loupedeck controller. That has certainly helped me out because with live streaming, for example, and what I'm doing right now, you know, for macros, I could actually just do this and then go through my scene switcher this way, you know, and just kind of switch all my overlays, you know, to whatever I want to prioritize. So that's kind of how I go through like my scene switching and stuff like that for a little bit more of a seamless kind of production. So I think with the additional macros, you know, plus what I have, you know, between the Keychron and the Razer Loupedeck controller, I think I'll be just fine. I think the only thing, like I said, that I'm missing is the numpad, and that's very, very specific to when I'm working on spreadsheets and, you know, more so work oriented, work oriented things. So we'll see, but let me pack away the K68 to start. As mentioned, if you're new to mechanical keyboards, or if you're well versed in mechanical keyboards, let me know in the chat. Definitely open to hear from other people's experiences on this. But as it stands right now, this, again, K70 is going to be retired. So let's take this guy out. And honestly, it served me so well. The wrist rest, like everything about it. Like, look at it. Like, it looks pretty, immaculate as it stands right here. So no oil or kind of scratches and scuffs like on any of this type of stuff. This was the dimmer switch, so you can kind of dim through multiple levels of light. I usually just kind of turned it off. The lock key to kind of lock the entire keyboard so that there was no misinputs. The mute button, the buttons to scroll, or not scroll, but to toggle up and down, the volume up and down. The media thing was really awesome as well. So for my Spotify or YouTube music, whatever is kind of playing in the background. But as mentioned, because I don't have a numpad anymore, I may be looking at, a Bluetooth separate numpad that I could just put off to the side, because again, saving this, and having a cleaner desk is going to be a nice little bonus. Yo, what's going on, Kev? Yo, I'm so sorry I missed your show, dude. Obviously I was out of town, but yes, 8BitDo controllers. I swear by 8BitDo controllers. If you don't have one, get one. I have 3. So hold on, let me put these wires away, and I'll show you exactly what I got. Just focusing on my mechanical keyboard game. But yes, sir. So let me find some 8BitDo controllers for you. We got the 8BitDo Ultimate Bluetooth C controller. So this one is the budget version of the Ultimate controller. They do have Hall effect sticks, fully compatible with the Nintendo Switch. You can, you have your double triggers here. You can pair it here via Bluetooth, but then you could also, use the 2.5 gigahertz dongle and pair that to your PC. That's one. Clean this guy, a little dirty. Cut it off. Oh. All right, so this one is the 8BitDo Ultimate controller. So these are technically identical. Main difference would be this is the premium version, this is the budget version. So with the premium version, the additional thing that you get, aesthetically, you get a two-tone, which is kind of nice. You get the additional paddles on the back over here, and then you can switch between the Bluetooth and the 2.4 gigahertz adapter here. You also get this charger so these 3 pins will connect to the bottom over here, and then you can have that with the USB-C that plugs into your PC. On the bottom is this cute little 2.5 4 gigahertz adapter. So here's a cool thing, is you can plug this into your PC. It'll pair to this right away, and then this acts as a receiver, right? Now, the cool thing about this base is this has a USB-A pass-through. So when you plug it in, like this, right? Instead of plugging in this dongle into your PC, you hook up a USB-C to your computer, USB-C to C or C to A, whatever it is. And now this will act as the transponder to your Ultimate Bluetooth controller. And then not only is it charging it, but this is acting as your wireless receiver for your PC. So this is definitely my recommendation is the Ultimate C controller. This is a limited edition red, and then I believe that the black and the white are still available. And the other one that we have here, let me double check. This is the latest edition. It's the stock, and it is the Ultimate 2C. So it is the upgrade to this 2. And the main difference are, I believe, again, it's the Hall effect and some additional, let's see here. There's some additional functionality that I can't recall, but I just swear by these controllers. And honestly, from a multiplayer perspective, there's a couple different functions and features, you know, that I kind of switch the between. For the most part, when I'm playing platformers and PC titles, I'm using this one here because I don't want, you know, to go breaking sticks and stuff like that. When I play Super Smash Brothers, I usually play on a traditional Switch Pro controller because I feel that they, you know, they take more of a beating. This one for sure has kind of bottomed out on me, the left stick, but that is, again, playing Smash like competitively. I feel that these controllers, especially the budget versions, aren't as good for them. But this is actually still functioning, fully functioning when I pair it to my Anbernic 40XX. So this is kind of like my emulation controller. This is like my PC controller when it comes down to like Epic Games and Steam. And this one is just another secondary controller because I saw them on sale, and I just love the colorway. So this is, I think, the stone or like coffee kind of color. I can't remember what they call this SKU specifically. Brownie. But I thought, you know what I mean? I'm just like a big controller dude, tech dude, as you know. So this is my assortment of 8BitDo controllers. So, you know, keep an eye out. I think that these are the best controllers. If you're a Nintendo Switch owner, PC player, or anything like that, then you certainly do want to, you know, to take a look at these. Now, where is... Oh, I think that covers it. So yeah, if you're into controllers, pro controllers and stuff like that, can't recommend these 8BitDo controllers enough. But let's get back to our regular scheduled program and talk about our mechanical keyboard upgrades. All right, so we're going to take a look at, this is again the Keychron V10 Max ergonomic keyboard. Again, I spend, you know, 8 to 10 hours a day working in esports, a lot of digital marketing and stuff like that. So, you know, protecting my fingies is very important to me, something I'm super conscious of right now because I want to be working in the industry for a while. So I have had wired what's it called, keyboards in the past, and they've been great from an ergo perspective. With work, I always had, you know, regular kind of stuff. Back when I was working at Microsoft, they came up with something called the Sculpt set, which actually was an ergo set. It had a mouse, it had a separate numpad, which I love the fact that, like, you know, I was able to kind of break things out. It had a built-in wrist rest, and the thing that sucked is that it had a proprietary dongle that paired to it. So when I moved, I ended up losing that dongle, and the rendered all three peripherals utterly useless. So I ended up having to scrap that, and then that's when I kind of switched over to the K68, my first mechanical keyboard. So now we're back to mechanical. Not only were we back to mechanical, but we're into this Alice Ergo layout over here. Because it is a little bit higher, one thing that I will recommend for anyone that does pick up a mechanical keyboard, and especially these Ergo keyboards, is a wrist rest. And something like this here, this is a 3M wrist rest, super flexy with the memory foam. I got the extra long one. This one now, can sit below my keyboard, but then it also provides me additional real estate on the right side for when I'm using my mouse. So this is me protecting my wrists, and highly recommend the 3M version. AliExpress, I'm fairly confident that AliExpress will have it, but I picked mine off Amazon. They're usually, I'm gonna say that they usually throttle around like the $30 to $40 price range, but when I saw it online, it was like $5 or $10 off. So I think it was like 29 or like 34 or something like that. But the other thing that I'm hopeful for, fingers crossed, and if not, then it's okay, is that they'll be compatible with the Switch 2. So I have a Switch 2 on pre-order, going to be picking that up on June 5th. Very excited about that. I did end up getting the Switch 2 Pro controller associated with it because, of course, playing Mario Kart Hardcore and not wanting to use like the dinky little Joy-Cons. Sure, they work, they're functional and stuff like that, but like, me, I'm competitive. Like I want to get into the game. So I mean, having a Pro controller, it was a non-negotiable when it comes down to that. I'm fairly sure that AliExpress will have the 8BitDo controllers, but check Amazon because they go on sale fairly often, maybe Prime Day, but even not on Prime Day, like I said, I found, again, that $5 or $10 discount, last week when I was in Texas. I just ordered it because I didn't want to come home and then, have buyer's remorse for not actually pulling the trigger at that time. But I mean, for you and the family, I think that like picking a couple of those up for multiplayer, they're probably the best. There's like other companies like PDP, PowerA that you'll find at like Walmart, GameStop, a lot of these other places with like the cool faceplates and stuff like that. Those are great too. Not gonna lie, but specifically because the 8BitDo they're so comfortable, they're so affordable, they're wireless, they retain pretty much the majority of the features and functions that a controller have is great. Plus the PC functionality, I think, is what I love about it the most. I mean, I don't play a lot of PC games, but when it comes down to, Humble Bundles on PC, Epic Games that come out with free games every Thursday, and then Steam sales and stuff like that, the fact that like I can just kind of toggle that switch and like know that I can get enough use out of the tech on both PC and on Switch, I think is definitely where I find the value, being able to kind of carry them through. So if you do pick one up, let me know. There's a lot of different colorways too. So I would love to see what you end up picking up. But again, I can't say enough good things about 8BitDo. The other thing I'll tell you is that the first one that I picked up was actually the black Ultimate controller, which comes with the dock. And because again, I was playing Smash like hardcore. I ended up like, I know that like they're supposed to be drift proof, but I ended up breaking that left stick still. I guess again, playing competitively and the amount of hours that I put into, the wear and tear, compared to like casual play. I ended up speaking to their customer service. I had to ship it in. I think it cost me like $20 to like ship back to them or whatever, but they gave me like a brand new, the red one, actually, the red one, limited edition. They hooked me up with that one, so sure, I paid a $20 replacement fee, but I didn't have to buy, a $60+ controller. And that's, again, the premium one is like, I think 60 or $70 right now. The C version is the budget one that's going to be around that $30 to $40 price point. So yeah, this is the Alice, the Keychron V10 Max. There are a couple different versions of this. I mentioned earlier that I accidentally purchased a wired regular controller, and then after doing a little bit more research after that impulse buy, I'm like, yo, they have ergo keyboards, sick. There's this knob on the side over here to kind of press that down, and everything, it has pretty much everything I want. Macro keys off to the side over here, still has the numpad or the arrow keys over here. As mentioned, Excel is probably what I'm doing the most amount of number crunching from a data input perspective, but it's so rare that I'm probably just going to find a cheap Bluetooth number pad that I could use on occasion. But this is kind of nice because I have, 75% of the keyboard, get a little bit more screen or table real estate back. And then the other thing, as mentioned, is that this is wireless. So if we flip it over, so aside from, the regular kind of face stuff that you see over here, This is again also doubles as a mute function if you tap that in, and they're all programmable keys as well. I'll be customizing the keycaps shortly, and then the other thing is that with a mechanical keyboard, they have individual switches. These are also linear switches. I believe they're Gatereon or Gatereon red. So I want to kind of stick the same. Brown, I don't really like the tactile feel. Blue, clicky or too loud. And I know there's a whole bunch of other new ones that are out there right now, but I didn't want to go breaking the bank on all those customized things. Those are all things that I don't really care about, to be honest. But let's take a look at the back. Over here, you could see a couple things. If you wanted to go wired and to charge it, you could use this USB-C port. There is a switch over here for Windows, Android, and Mac and iOS. So you literally just toggle, what OS you're running, and it'll immediately switch it there. You also have another, 3 style switch over here. One, 2.4 gigahertz for the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. You have cable when you use this wired functioning port over here, and then Bluetooth, which is on the far right. It's Bluetooth 5.1, so very quick, and you could pair that to your PC or any Bluetooth device. I think you could pair up to 3 Bluetooth devices. Let me double check here. Yes. So you'll see that there's a function key, and 1, 2, and 3 are actually, you could see right here, there's 3 different Bluetooth icons over here. So in addition to hitting the function or shift key and hitting the exclamation at and hash symbol, pound symbol, you can actually use these 3 keys, I believe, with the function key to toggle through the 3 Bluetooth devices that you pair to this here, which is really nice. Another cool feature is the storage of the dongle. I just told you the issue that I had with the Microsoft product in the past, where I ended up losing the dongle for the keyboard. So the fact that this has built-in storage is absolutely incredible. First one over here, this is a 2.4 gigahertz dongle in the regular USB-A. This is another Bluetooth adapter in 2.4 gigahertz adapter in USB-C, which I think is pretty sweet. And then the other thing that you have here from an ergo perspective are 2 adjustable heights. You have a single height kickstand like this, and then you have the second height kickstand like this if you want it a little bit steeper. But I usually keep mine flat and kind of flush with my wrist rest. But that is the overview of the Keychron V10 Alice. And I think we're going to go ahead and switch over to switching out the keycaps. So my cat is going nuts right now. Hold on. Sorry. What happened to my playlist? Bear with me, folks. I definitely got to come up with like a stream mix or something that just kind of plays on its own. Right now, I just literally have like a folder of like some stream beats that I downloaded from YouTube that are all royalty free. So there will be a mix of Latin beats and kind of like lo-fi and stuff like that. If you have any preference, do let me know. Otherwise, yeah, let's go ahead and get back to switching out these keycaps. First and foremost, I need to run over to the other room because, as mentioned, I washed the keycaps are white, and I ended up washing them last night to, just kind of get them clean and ready for the new install, the fresh install. So give me 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. And these are the custom keycaps that I was mentioning before. So, clearly they are very much 8-bit inspired. I'm an 8-bit kid, grew up on NES, ColecoVision, Sega Genesis. In regards to adding a little bit of flair to the keyboard, thought that this would be a nice little way to, kind of add some style, in favor of RGB rather, because I didn't really care for the lights. I thought that at least the key aesthetic would be awesome. The thing that really sold me on these are these 8-bit sprites of the, Mario, Rush, Mega Man, the Pac-Man, and other types of stuff like that here. So I'm going to go ahead and start to kind of replace these keys as we sort of go about it. I don't think I'm going to change the entire face. At the very least for this stream right now, all I want to do is prioritize the letters, and then from there, we can kind of decide what we want to do with them. So let's go ahead and use this keycap puller. So this is, again, I mentioned the keycap puller that comes with the Keychron keyboard over here. Right, so what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and pull out this Q key, for example. Pull that out, and let me quickly turn this Bluetooth off one more time. I'm going to put it to cable mode just so there's no wireless signal going out. But there is the red switch, beneath it. And then, as mentioned, if you wanted to remove the switch, I'm not going to do that right now, but that's what this side is for. You could literally remove that entire switch. So if it's faulty, you need to relube it. There's any other issues that you have with it, you can just literally pull that out, replace it with another switch. I know that there's also some people that, this is a full linear red switch layout. Some people I know prefer to have different switches on different locations. Maybe if they want a more tactile or clicky or linear feel, depending on how they map their keyboard. Maybe that it's like a responsiveness or like a muscle memory kind of thing. I don't know what the purpose would be, but that is certainly a possibility. So we'll go ahead and quickly replace this guy with the Q. And there is our first key. So as mentioned, I'm just going to go through this entire top row first, and then we'll go ahead and replace all the letters. That's the focus of today's stream. So QWERTY, as mentioned, if you are well versed in mechanical keyboards, or even if you're not and you have any questions, let me know. I'm by no means a pro. I love tech, but mechanical keyboards are certainly new to me. I know there's some diehards out there that have built these from scratch. This was a pre-built. Some people will pick up the bare bones body layout, and then they will install their own switches. They'll put in their own dampeners and foam. They will install their own keycaps and all that other types of stuff. They'll actually go through and loop their keys, or their switches every so often. So I applaud them, for that. But I am a novice when it comes down to this type of stuff. I just love tech and I love tinkering. So that is, a lot of why I have my channel in general. Because yes, I work in esports. Yes, I love collecting toys and stuff like that. But something that I got, attached to as a kid as well is just analog technology, tinkering, repair, stuff like that. Like with my Nintendo Switch, I have a day one Nintendo Switch. So that is what, 7, 8 years old already. I've had to replace the Joy-Con sticks. I've had to replace the battery. I've had to replace the fan. And yeah, I mean, honestly, instead of having to buy a new Switch, I ended up maybe spending, I don't know, maybe $80 tops on on all of those repairs put together. So it pays, to have a little bit of patience and and skill to kind of tinker with that kind of stuff. So if you're a nerd like me, maybe a keyboard like this is for you. Come on. There we go. One thing as well that you might notice is that this particular keyboard, as it is stock, at least to me, is very reminiscent of the IBM ThinkPads, or now the Lenovo ThinkPads, which are, you know, more you know, commercial grade laptops, you know, that are easily serviceable and stuff like that. So if you remember some of those laptops, you know, they pretty much had, you know, dark keys, and they had like the red, you know, touchpad nub like in the middle. So to me, like, this is very reminiscent. You know, this entire build is very reminiscent of that line of laptops. I remember, again, when they were still IBM, and then I don't know. I guess IBM is. I don't know if they're a part of Lenovo or if they just kind of sold the ThinkPad line and license to Lenovo. But yeah, that's something that just kind of came to mind when I think about the general aesthetic of this particular keyboard. So I have the QWERTY layout, specifically the letter layout, removed. So I'm going to go ahead and now install. I'm going to go ahead and install the keys here. But yeah, these keycaps, they, you know, I think they're called PBT. I can't remember, but they are pretty much, you know, high heat. You know, the die is like right on there. So in the 4 or however long years I've had these, like, you know, there's no oil or like other types of stuff. There's no like paint chipping or anything like that. The only thing is that around the sides over time, like, it did accumulate like some like dust and like grime and stuff. So when I removed them from the previous keyboard, I threw them in a dish bowl with some soap and literally went and just kind of wash them, soak them for like an hour. You give them a little scrub and just let them dry overnight. Just let them air dry overnight, and now they look, you know, good as new. What am I looking for? TY. QWERTY. UIOP. Yeah, there's just this universal little, you know, cross, you know, peg system. OP. And one thing that I will call out is, I know some people have an issue with like these little like gaps, kind of like angular kind of areas like around the keyboard. But honestly, I don't care, you know, about that. Like, to me, like, the layout is just fine. Plus, especially when you're doing custom keycaps and stuff like that, it's not like you have like wedge shaped keys, or like those are easy to kind of come by. So I definitely, that's a nitpick. I think it, like, you know, for some people, like, that's definitely going to be an issue. For me, I'm good. We good. ASDF. I'm using, if you have noticed, I laid this QWERTY layout over here out just to give me like that signal reference in terms of, you know, where I need to be looking. Let's see here, FGH. It's over a little bit more. I think I'm out of frame because of the way that, yeah, the camera's sort of picking me up. So I'll turn that off a little bit, or out a little bit. JKL, where are we at? JK. L. Where are we at? ZXC. V, whoops, B, plug this guy in, and then this is an extra B. I'm gonna have to program this key here to something. I don't know what yet, but let's get NM. And the arrow key, or arrow and comma. So it looks like I will spill into the outside a little bit. But yeah, this is what it currently looks like, which I don't think is too bad, to be honest. Right? Get a little bit of variety when it comes down to the way that it looks with the colorway. But like I said, I'm not going to completely change, you know, the keyboard. I actually do like this, like blue, gray, indigo kind of colorway, to be honest. Kind of just like those main keys for like a little bit of aesthetic, and then maybe the macros that I'll get something going on here. So let's see. Let's get. What I'll do is I'll work my way. You know what? I'm gonna work my way out to these keys here. I'm gonna leave the outermost keys stock for now. Or actually, you know what? Let's just go for it and see how. I'm gonna keep adding and removing, and then we'll see how I feel about it. We could always switch back, right? So this out, because I do like this red enter key, which sounds silly, small, very small thing. The one thing I also do want to switch out here is the Windows key, and I have a very special one in mind there. So let's go ahead and grab a couple more of these, the period and the question mark. Get that colon, semicolon, the quotation and the apostrophe, square bracket, decided to pull the number keys. To be honest, I don't see myself switching over to different Bluetooth pairing, so I don't know when I'm gonna need to remember, but I could always kind of make that mental note. Let's see how we look here, because I kind of like the function, at least like the function keys on top have, you know, programmable purpose. That being the dimming, the brightness for like the screen, the body itself, and then, you know, the media keys and stuff. So part of me is wanting to keep those here, but let's see. Okay, let's keep working our way over, going back with the number keys. Let's get 1 and 2 on. Let's get 3 and 4 on. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Hold on. Looks to be like a shaved piece of plastic or something here. Just a second here. Trying to figure out if I can remove that. What happened to my audio? Hold up. Yo, Kuya Marlin, what are you saying, man? Just chilling, man. Just doing some laptop or keyboard tinkering here. I don't know what that is. Hold up. Looks like a little extra shaving of plastic, but it's not bothering me or hitting anything, so I'm just gonna leave that. And then I could remove it in future if needed, but otherwise I think that we are doing okay. Where are we at? 7/8? Where did my 8 go? Oh, there we go. 7/8. And then minus and plus. Okay, and then our brackets. Square brackets. And then we have our colon and quotation. That's looking pretty good. Now we have a good, balance of that. Looks good. I know nothing about. Yeah, man. Mechanical keyboards, something that I got into when I started gaming on PC, because I've always been a Nintendo guy. So quick story, when I started to do PC gaming, it was when Xbox Game Pass started to kind of offer more games that I enjoyed, like grounded and platformers and stuff like that. So I decided to actually pick up a gaming keyboard, to kind of just have a more ergonomic setup. The thing that I liked about the mechanical keyboard specifically, I went wired at that time for my first one. The switches are all like they feel really nice, like in terms of like from a typing perspective, and then they will also take more of a beating than a standard keyboard. And then with these switches, or mechanical keyboards in general, you could use this, switch puller. Like I'm doing keycaps right now, but the switch is the actual piece that's right below here, this mechanism below. So that switch, I can pull that out. So if it's faulty, or if it's just not, performing the way that I want, like it's sticking or whatever, you can pull it out. You can apply, oil and switch lube just to kind of like get a more smooth type. Or if you wanted a more tactile feeling, you could switch them out to brown switches. If you want a more clicky sound, then you could switch to blue switches. And then there's a whole world subculture of mechanical keyboard parts. There's like different dampeners and stuff like that to kind of give you to change like the sound and like the feel, like the bounce back and stuff like that, which is like very nuanced for people that are typists, programmers and stuff like that as well. So you know how it is, man. Like we're collectors, and there's sub collector stuff within the collecting community. The keyboard game is a whole other thing itself. For the most part, for me, I wanted to have a smaller form factor. I couldn't go down to the 60% and lose like the arrow keys and stuff like that, so I went with a 75%. So I lose the number pad, but I still have everything else. I also wanted wireless, from a convenience standpoint, just being able to move the keyboard around without having it catching on to anything. And then ergonomics. I work in tech, and in partnerships and business and stuff like that. So I'm sitting at my desk all the time, and I'm just literally typing up a storm. And then I play Smash pretty heavily as well. So the amount of, I guess, like gaming that the gaming that I do, the amount of work that I spend on my hands, I just want to make sure that I am prolonging my hand and wrist and arm health, so I can continue working in this industry as long as I can. So that would be the absolute worst to get like carpal tunnel or other types of wrist injuries and stuff like that, to stop me from gaming and stuff like that. But Was it seems like a rabbit hole? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Keycaps. Like again, I got these retro keycaps specifically just for aesthetics. Like, come on. Like, I got like these ones. You know what I mean? You know, with the Mega Man and like the Mario. Just like literally, I'm probably just gonna use those for the macros off to the side. This one again has a double B. Had a double B just because from an ergonomic perspective, I guess for left and righties. So this I need to switch out for something, and honestly, I might put Mario or something there just as a placeholder for jokes. But what I'm thinking is that like at least with this keyboard layout, the majority of the functioning keys and stuff around the side, I may leave stock. I may switch out for now. The one last, or I guess like let's put Mario there. Or you know what? No. Between Mega Man and Mario, if anyone knows me, I'm more of a Mega Man fan. You know, specifically, he's one of my mains in Smash. As much as I love Mario, I will not be putting him there. I will put Mega Man into this B slot right over here. And now we have a fun little Mega Man there pointing at that 8-bit M. And the last one that I wanted to do is the Windows key. So when I received this was actually a, because it's a dual functionality keyboard with Mac as well. So this actually had the Mac, you know, option button or menu button or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. What's going on, Scott? Good to see you, buddy. Yes, I will be switching out the Windows key for the Zelda heart, right? Why not? Super cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and the one gray key, that we have here is the Zelda heart. Yeah, super typey. So very fun little exercise we did here. I was also thinking of whether or not I want to change the knob. I believe it's like a half moon, maybe. Yeah. So this is a pretty standard, you know, knob port. I've seen like, you know, gold and silver ones and stuff like that too. So depending on, you know, how fancy I want to get with, you know, with my keyboard, then I may switch that out. I'm trying to think of any other keys that I may want to change. I think I'm pretty good for now. I feel like the way that this kind of has like the white pop in the center is, you know, kind of a nice like contrast to the entire body of the keyboard. As mentioned, the top row of function keys, you know, have things that I'm gonna want to use. You know what I mean? Like changing brightness, you know, going through media, you know, skipping through media and stuff like that. And we'll see about these ones on the side and whether or not I want to change these. Pretty much, I could change this entire layout if I want to. Like this is what I have, you know, to work with, like in terms of like one tray, but I have like three more. I have like three more trays of keys from sprites in different games and different like shapes and like stuff like that. So honestly, probably not right now, but at some point, if I get bored of this layout, then I may go ahead and, you know, kind of go ham on these. One thing I could think of is potentially switching out these macros, you know, to maybe some other game sprites or something, just to kind of give it a little bit more personality. But otherwise, I'm trying to think of if there are any immediate changes that I think I want to make to the board or not, because I'm pretty happy with the way that, you know, the black, you know, the gray blue plus like the dark blue, the accent reds, and how everything else is kind of driving right now. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this. As mentioned, this is the Keychron V10 Max in the Alice layout. Alice specifically calls out the ergonomic, you know, aspect to it. And I think, can I show you the light up functions? Let's double check here real quick. There we go. Hey Google, turn off ring light. There you go. So a couple different aspects and animations. I believe you just kind of cycle through. I think function S brings it down. There you go. So that's no light, which I'm pretty, I usually go with no light. You could also just hit the tab, to turn light on and off completely. But from a dimming perspective, yeah, you hold function and hit the W key to increase brightness if you want. And then the other thing you could do is rotate through different animations in regards to how the RGB moves here. So as you're scrolling over to you see the wave kind of moving over to the right, I can hit function Q and that'll waterfall down. This is more of like a wave, left to right, pouring into the center. It's like two mirrored kind of like black holes. There's a few different like pinwheel, like rotating kind of styles. That's one. This one's more of like an intense kind of spiral. This is reverse. This one's just kind of like all over the place. This just does like a random dimming here and there. And then this one I believe is to trying to figure out here. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this one kind of randomly lights up different sections. I don't know what that green light is for. Very odd. Oh, there you go. This one is the one that... And that green light is... I'm wondering what's going on here. If I press anything other than the function key, it just goes with that green one, but... It's really odd. Yeah, I know that there was one setting that, depending on where you typed, it would kind of light up that area. So I don't know what's going on with this right now. But here's, I guess, a cool kind of way that they illuminated specifically the areas that kind of also match. They kind of match the colorway that I did. Like just the core buttons of the numbers plus the letters themselves are the ones that are kind of lit up in the blue. The function keys and surrounding areas are in the yellow. Both of these escape and enter keys are explicitly red, and each of these switches are independently lit. So like I can change the entire colorway, or I can go ahead and customize different things here. So as mentioned, not a big thing that I focus on, to be honest, but something you can do. Hey Google, turn on ring light. And that is the Keychron V10 Max Ergo keyboard in the Alice layout. So really excited to have this unboxed and fully installed, customized with my 8-bit keycaps here. Looking forward to putting a lot of work into this, and I'm looking to see. I'll definitely have some more reviews and feedback in future. But otherwise, very happy with it. Again, compatible with PC and Mac. Has a wired option, has the Bluetooth, has the 2.4 gigahertz adapter, and ergonomic layout to save the fingies. So yeah, if you're into this type of stuff, then definitely stay tuned. Aside from keyboard stuff, I will be streaming Mario Kart World starting on June 5th once I actually have the Switch 2 console. So excited for that. Looking forward to doing some damage with green shells for sure. I'm trying to think of anything else coming up that I could think of, but I am drawing a blank. I think for the most part, I'm still coming down from the Texas trip. That was an absolutely crazy LAN. For people that don't know, I work for a company called Play Versus, and we run Scholastic Esports. I specifically work on the college business, on marketing and partnerships. So finding sponsors for the league to kind of help fund operations and scholarships and other types of stuff like that. We run, just like any other traditional college sport, we run esports as an option for college students, exclusively for the college students that are at those respective schools. They play through a regular season, through a playoff and a championship, and they play for scholarships in both the fall and then we do it again in the spring. So the reason I was in Texas at the CECC May Madness at Esports Stadium Arlington was we took the top champions from the fall, we took the top champions from the spring, brought them all together to face off at our tournament of champions and then crown the victor. The top two schools there for sure were Northwood and Fisher. Those schools cleaned up, and pretty much took all the awards for first place. So really, really excited, to see how the college esports space is sort of changing up. So I got back on Monday after quite a bit of delays, and then just right back to it. We're right in the thick of back to school. We're running other tournaments. There's another one this weekend actually on our Playfly channel with LHSAA. That's a Louisiana High School Association. And then tomorrow we're running the North American Honor of Kings Campus Series Championship. So lots of esports stuff kind of going on. So if you're into gaming, if you're into collectibles, if you're into esports, if you're into technology, then I'm your guy, and would definitely like to stay in touch. But otherwise, I think we are good for now, and I look forward to the next stream. Talk to you later.
Peace.